All right, I'm Josiah, and today we're going to see what Kevin Stefanski, head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, has to say. And more importantly, we're going to figure out what he's not saying. We're going to read between the lines here. I'm a Panthers fan, so don't shoot me, but let's get to it.
You're living in both worlds, if you will, but just going to continue to coach the football team.
You feel
Okay, they started this on a halfway through a question. We didn't start at a weird spot.
confident that situation will get resolved?
I do.
Tua looked like he was at full participation with other quarterbacks. What's the latest?
Yeah, better. I don't know if he's full yet. Got in there in a few of the slower jog-through periods. He's getting better every single day, as you guys see. So I think he'll remain on that trajectory. So really confident that he'll be out there soon.
Okay, big thing here. Quarterback situation for the Falcons has been a little bit of a question mark. They brought in Tua, Michael Penix. Both of them are banged up right now. Sounds like Tua's starting to move in the right direction. They did bring in Cooper Rush to be in the quarterback room too, but you need Tua healthy.
And I know you mentioned this was kind of a flare-up. Is this like an ongoing thing that he's dealt with previously, or just?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Good questions by reporters. We've been doing quite a few teams, and sometimes we get some dumb questions. These are good, like to the point, trying to figure out how serious this injury is for Tua.
Mike obviously was off yesterday. Yes. How do you guys try to schedule when he's out there, when he's off? Like, what is that process?
I work with medical, and they tell me what they think is the best. So, for instance, yesterday we didn't schedule any 7-on-7s because Mike wasn't practicing. Today Mike's practicing, so had a 7-on-7. So just trying to be mindful of when he's out there and making sure he's getting great work when he's out there.
He had mentioned, too, that it might be a month until he's completely cleared. I mean, how much of a hindrance is that? And is there still a chance he can be the guy week one?
He and I are so focused on what's in front of us. I know that there's conversations that happen about, when cleared for team, all those type of things. That's really not our priority right now. I know when he's available out there at practice, and we're going to get him ready like he's doing. I think you guys see from Mike, he's continuing to attack his rehab, learning a new system, getting around his teammates. So we're really pleased with what he's doing out there, and we'll just worry about that day to day.
Oh, man, I'm glazing these reporters right now, but I'm loving just how targeted they are with these questions. They're talking about Michael Penix, and they're like, hey, is he going to be ready for week one? Is he going to be the guy? Like, trying to get a little bit of insight around the depth chart. Like, Tua or Michael Penix. And I think most of us are expecting Tua to be the guy, at least for a little bit. Michael Penix needs to develop a little bit here. Kevin completely dodged the question. He was like, we are not getting to that right now. We're focusing on the day-to-day. Typical coach answer. But we can read between the lines a little bit, and we understand he's dodging that question because he knows Michael's probably not going to be QB1 week one. And right now they're focusing on health, which is the most important thing for him.
Going back to Bijan, how much did you know that situation coming in? Was that something that you were aware of? This could be a possibility.
Well, I think just the NFL, you understand different things come up via.
The reporter's asking about Bijan Robinson, and Bijan's not currently practicing, I don't believe. And a lot of that is because of contract issues. And so it's like, hey, were you aware of this, or like, how are you seeing it?
All sorts of things, and contracts obviously are a part of that. So it doesn't change relationships and those type of things.
I understand those are private conversations that you have, but what have you talked with them about? Any messages that you have to him?
I don't think it's fair to share those type of things. And again, I think we all trust in the process of what's going on.
So the reporter was asking, like, hey, have you had a conversation with Bijan? Like, what have those conversations looked like? Again, trying to dig deeper here. Kevin, he's a pro. He knows what he's doing here. He still completely avoided the question, saying, like, hey, I don't think it's fair to share that information. But he didn't say yes, that they've even had a conversation. But the fact that he said it's not right to share the information does make me think that they probably at least talked, which is better than a lot of coaches. A lot of them don't say anything to these guys who are holding out.
At the end of OTAs, there were certain things that he wanted to work on. Obviously, a little bit limited in what he can do. Have you seen what kind of jump or what kind of improvements have you seen? I know it's only
sure. Yeah. I think it's early, or I'd say it's early in the camp, and until he gets fully going, you'll see that as time goes on. I think for a player like Tua and like Mike for that matter, it's a new system. So you're learning, and you're learning the different nuances of each play, if you will. So I think those come with reps. Those come with mental reps. Those come with meetings. So it's just about stacking days, I would say, as you learn a new system.
How is Jack Strand progressing in these last 3 days with all these reps?
Jack is doing a nice job. Obviously, as a quarterback, you're prepared to be the starter. I mean, just that's how you do it. Whether you're carrying 4 guys or 3 guys or 5 guys, everybody has to prepare themselves as if they're the starter. That's how that room works. That's the nature of that position. So he's doing a nice job with what Tommy and Coach Van Pelt are asking him to do. It's not perfect, as you would not expect any rookie to be perfect, but I think Jack continues to impress with his ability to command the offense, the ability to get in and out of the huddle, get us in and out of run plays to pass plays. He's a very, very bright young man.
Okay, a few things here. So on that last question, they were asking how is Tua doing, like figuring out all the new system, because Kevin Stefanski is coming from the Browns. And so they're in a new system. One thing that I liked here that I think a lot of people probably missed out on is that he also brought up Michael Penix, and he's continuing to make sure he keeps bringing him up. Really kind of reminding everyone, like, there's Tua, but Michael Penix is also here, which, again, is going to help morale for a guy like Michael Penix. And then the question right after that was about Jack Strand, the rookie quarterback who they brought in. And it sounds like he's doing well, and commanding the offense for a rookie is impressive. Like, that's a good compliment to get from the coach, because especially in a new system where everyone's still figuring things out, that's high praise. But, he's the third string quarterback. We can only expect so much.
A couple of traits that stood out in the draft process that you identified that's a guy we'd like to go after if we had the opportunity.
Sure. I do think the intelligence piece, which is important when you're playing that position like we're talking about, and obviously his size when you see him up close. Jack's a big kid that can stand in the pocket and deliver.
6'5".
Do we make too much about the Division II to NFL jump? I mean, any jump from college to the NFL is substantial, but is there?
I think football's football ultimately, but those windows get really small in the NFL, and guys are typically not wide open when you're throwing to them. So I think that's just the natural college to pro type of thing. I don't know if Division II, 1AA, 1A, whatever you want to call it. I just think that's the natural thing when you get up to this level. These defensive players are excellent, and it's hard to get guys really open. You got to throw guys open.
Good.
You heard a lot about the defensive line last year and how well they played, but the secondary is a very important unit to this particular team. How do they look so far?
Well, I think the secondary and the front feed off of each other, and I think a good front allows the secondary to flourish. I think a really good secondary allows the defensive line to get home. So I think those rush and coverage really go together. Very pleased with the back end of players that we have, both young and old. I think it's a really good mix of talent. It's a really good versatile mix of talent. So really pleased with what our coaches are asking of our guys early, and throughout camp we'll mix and match different players back there. But, yeah, really feel good about that back end in total.
The question was really focusing on the defense. Just basic answer here, saying we're still mixing and matching guys. Trust both sides, but both sides are going to work off of each other. And, yeah, normal coach answer on the defense, having to work together as a unit.
About James Pierce. I know he joined this team in minicamp, missed OTAs. You talked about him being on a timetable to progress. How do you feel like he's progressing?
Doing a nice job. Obviously, we're just a few days into camp, so making up for some of the time he missed in the spring from a mental standpoint, but he's doing a nice job with what we're asking of him in the weight room, on the field, and in the meeting. So he's handling his business and doing a really nice job.
They're asking about James Pierce. He's a linebacker that the Falcons just brought on board. 2025 first-round draft pick. Had a decent year last year of 10.5 sacks. So not a bad player, and really a good pickup for the Falcons. And sounds like he's doing well.
It seems like you have had a pretty healthy rotation at nickel corner. What's kind of your evaluation of that?
I would say that should continue really at a lot of positions. We're going to rotate different players in there and different packages, and understand that once we get to week one, you have to have a plan of who's starting in this package, who's starting that package. But we're going to mix and match a lot of guys so that we get reps and can make an informed decision.
That's probably true, but it's also just something that a lot of coaches say in training camp to make sure everyone feels like they're involved.
No, it's only been a few days. What has impressed you the most about Cash Jones so far? What are you hoping to see from him?
Cash has done a nice job. Just going back to the spring, we bounced him from the wide receiver room to the running back room, and in an effort to help him and understand routes and understand how to get open and use his hands in the pass game with the wide receiver position. The running back position comes naturally to him, but catching the ball out of the backfield is obviously a big part of what he can potentially do. So just have felt that he's done a nice job understanding his role, understanding what he can do in the system. And then, a big part for a guy like Cash and a lot of young guys is their ability to help on special teams, and he's taken that very seriously.
Yeah, you're playing special teams, bud. Get ready.
Your philosophy on playing starters in the preseason?
I think every team is different. What your team needs can be different year to year. I do think in general it's good to play in the preseason. Now the number of plays varies, of course, and we'll really treat the first game and the third game as games that we'll play some of our starters in. The second game, we're going over to Indianapolis to practice versus the Colts for a couple days. So the majority of the reps versus the Colts will go to our starters. So those guys will not play in that second game. But we'll work through our plan for the first and third game. But in general, I think guys, to get ready to play football, you got to play football.
Could you see, if healthy, Tua and Mike both playing in those games?
We'll see when we get to those games. But again, we'll have those type of discussions leading into every game. But by and large, we'll have a plan that will vary based on what we feel like that player needs to get ready for the season.
I don't believe on Kyle Pitts that we brought up his whole contract last time you talked. I mean, what did he prove to you guys from May, June, that whole process that you guys said, hey, I want you here long term?
Well, I think Kyle obviously has been here for a good amount of time, where he's established himself as a player on the field. He's established himself on a person in the organization, a player, a teammate in the locker room. So what he showed me as I just got to know Kyle through the offseason program is somebody that's very serious about his work, that wants to be great, wants to work at a ton of things with Coach Koger, and has the right attitude and is a really good teammate.
I'm curious.
Everyone is always worried about the Falcons and their receivers. Like, they have Drake London, but like, who else do you have outside of Drake London? To me, it's like you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. Like, those are two legit guys. And I'm also a big Zachariah Branch fan. I think he could be a really good pickup for the Falcons. But, the usual stuff from a coach saying Kyle Pitts is a good guy. He's proven a lot already in the offseason. He had a great year last year, so it makes sense he gets paid.
I'm sure you had an idea of who he was and what he can be, but is there just the way that he operates, what's kind of surprised you, what's impressed you? Because he's accomplished quite a bit.
Sure.
I'm sure you can only know so much when you're not with him.
Right. I think Kyle's very impressive when you see him initially in person. I think Kyle's been blessed to have the size and the ability to move at that size. Not many people are that height and that weight and can move as fluidly as Kyle does. So I think that's something that you see when you, at the first few times that we're practicing and running routes, you see the ability of Kyle to bend at that size, which I think is very rare.
Really golf too.
Well, he plays a lot of golf. I don't know if I'd say he can really golf.
Kevin, you talk so much about focus on the day-to-day process. I mean, when you go through these training camp practices and preseason and everything, what is part of the process that you enjoy most and rewards you most as a leader?
Well, you use the word reward. We don't want to chase the reward. We want to reward the chase is what we're trying to do. So what that means is all of it is part of the process, whether it's those drills that we just did out there on the field and even the minutia of football and those drills that seem so simple and they're everyday drills that you do. They're all just trying to get you ready for the long haul. What we do in the weight room, what we do in the meeting rooms, how we attack this how we attack this training camp and get our minds and our bodies ready for a long season. I just think it's so important for us as coaches, us as players, to keep our head down, keep the main thing, work like crazy, and not focus on what comes after that. We're going to keep our head down and we're going to work.
From the outside looking at, so many people will say, okay, best player at this position, that's when it comes to the competition. What separates a guy in your estimation when it comes to an intangible thing versus a skill? How do you go about evaluating that you feel comfortable, that guy has earned that opportunity?
One more time, sorry.
Yeah, just balancing some of the intangibles. What's these process, you reward the chase. Sure. And, it's very easy for us from the outside to say, okay, it should be that guy. Because
yeah, sure.
So when you look at the intangibles.
I think, speaking of evaluations of players, we take everything into account, everything. And I think you have to. I think to paint a full picture of a player, you have to paint a full picture of the person and the impact that they have on a day-to-day basis, the impact they have in the locker room. So, those intangible things that you need at positions to thrive in this league are very hard to describe, but you know it when guys have it. And we're very fortunate to have a bunch of guys that, like I mentioned, focus on the work. This is training camp. It's going to be hard. They're not in pads yet. They know that's coming. They know the heat's going to get turned up, and we're just going to focus on what's in front of us.
Drake and Penix have both talked really highly about Zachariah Branch. Saw him make a couple great catches in the crowd already roaring today. How have you seen him progress, and what have you liked?
Zachariah is wired the right way, and that's something we knew going into the draft, and certainly have figured out about him spending so much time with him through the off-season program into training camp. He's somebody that really puts in the effort on a day-to-day basis, and that's again was no surprise because that's what.
He's a small guy. He has to put in the effort.
But that's what Kirby told me. That's what all his coaches have told us in the past, and it's true. You watch him at practice, and he goes, and he goes, and he goes, and he's got the right makeup for what we want him to be.
Do you think about the fans being here at all? Like fans today, first day, does that?
Oh, love it. Yeah, I mean, I love it. Our guys love it. I can promise you the second you have the crowd out there, it brings a level of intensity, brings a level of excitement to what we do. I think they bring the juice for us. So I love that they're here. I love that they're on the hill. I told the guys last night, and you talked about going over there to sign autographs for our guys. I was that kid. I know what that feels like, and it can be a special moment for them. So we want to do our part and thank them for supporting us. The least we can do is go over there and say hello, take a picture, sign an autograph.
When do you guys expect Juwan Taylor back?
In the next few days, weeks.
The question was about Juwan Taylor, starting right tackle, facing an injury, and it sounds like he might be coming back relatively soon.
So there's the hope. Continues to work very hard. He's in every meeting. He's pushing, and I think he's getting closer.
I saw Kendall was out today as well. Is that just kind of a planned rest day?
Sure. There will be a scheduled rest days for a bunch of guys as we go through this program, guys that are rehabbing from injuries, those type of things.
You had mentioned that he had this calf thing that's been around for a long time. How much of a problem is that? I mean, is it not a thing you guys are really too
Yeah, I feel that we have a good plan for that his injury. He's addressed it and will continue to be smart about it.
You mentioned pads coming on soon.
I wasn't sure who they were talking about. Maybe Kendall Daniels, one of their inside linebackers, but he's pretty far on the depth chart, so not certain.
Is that Monday? Is that the plan?
Yep. There's I don't want to. I'll let you know. I know it's not tomorrow. We're in shells one more day tomorrow with an off day, and then pads come on either Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
Lots of rules that I need to pay attention to.
Real?
Anything else? Who was the autograph when you were a kid? You said autographs is the one that stands out.
Well, there was those early '90s Eagles teams, so it was getting close to Jerome Brown and Reggie White and. Eric Allen. I mean, those were just being around those players as a young kid was incredible. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff, y'all. Good job, reporters, asking good questions, the stuff we care about. For me, as always, quarterbacks. If you have quarterback questions, the receiver room, question marks there. Giving me some clarity on one of my favorite guys, Zachariah Branch. Also getting clarity on injuries, big. Right tackle coming back, huge. And then also getting clarity on what the defense is doing and how the defense is looking. He gave us a very general answer, but so early in training camp, I expect that. I want some harder questions on the defensive players, moving forward. But for now, good stuff, Falcons. If you agree or you disagree with whatever I said, or if you like the content, subscribe, comment. Let me know how y'all are feeling about the Falcons this year. I'm pumped, man. Glad football's back. Good stuff. Peace out, y'all. Bye.